I want to talk about my recent trip to Italy and some money-saving tips for you on the travel. So yesterday, in Wes's Ask an Advisor podcast, he was talking about consumer confidence being low and all that, and how that was going to affect travel. And so the good news is that chart after chart I see shows that the cost of travel has gone down recently. The average airfare down. Doesn't mean when you go look for a ticket to a specific place at a specific time that it's going to be a screaming deal. But overall, the airlines are worried. The only airline that said it wasn't worried was United, but everybody else in the airline industry freaking out. Hotel bookings have softened, and the rates as a result have been coming down. And it's not a collapse, but it's a trend that's your friend. And it takes a while for airlines to say, oops, we're going to park planes in the desert and wait this out a little bit. And hotels, you just don't go park a hotel room in the desert. You sell it for what you can get for it. So if you bought airline tickets over the last many months, or you booked a hotel over the last many months, re-shop those. And you've heard me many times talk about my thing about travel is I buy the deal and then figure out why I want to go there. But there was a sale, airfare sale to Italy. And my wife is 7% Italian, but gets to Italy and she's calls it her homeland. She feels at home there. So anytime there's a sale to Italy, I'll say, honey, you want to go? She says, yeah, when? And we book it. And so we did. And that's how we ended up in Italy. But I want to share one of the things that is straight out of my playbook that should be in yours. So I always reshop the various elements of a trip. And the car rental I had booked was $467 US for a week, unlimited kilometers. And I'd been watching it, and then I reshopped it the day before we went. Usually I talk about the week before going. What did we end up paying? 234 euro for the week. At the time, that was like 260 something dollars for the week. So just taking 3 minutes and reshopping the car, the price dropped a couple $100, a little bit more than $200. I mean, man, that was awesome. And from a video we posted on social, I guess on YouTube as well, there were a number of comments. What was I doing splurging on an Audi? I hadn't. I'd booked a cheap rental. And when I got to the car rental, they were out of what I booked. And the guy said, well, I got this you can have instead or that. And I'm like, man, never driven an Audi. Let's try that. And it was big, which was hard parking it because it was so big. Audi A4, which in Europe is like driving a monstrous SUV because the parking spaces are the size of where you'd park a bicycle in Europe. But anyway, the Audi was so much fun to drive. Best rental car I've ever had. And never even thought about an Audi, but it was really, really special. And so that's why I was in an Audi, because people saw in the video when my wife Lane was shooting me in the car, they saw the Audi. They're rings, right? I think they're rings. Is that right?
Yeah, they're rings.
Rings.
You are forgiven.
For,
It's so funny. That's what people judge you for. That car's too expensive.
but it wasn't. It was like the double deal. The price had dropped a couple $100, changing car rental companies. And then And then I got the upgrade only because they were out of what I had, which was funny because, I rent cars like 30 times a year.
I was going to say, I wonder how many thousands of cars you rented, and I've never heard you say something like this was the best rental car I've ever gotten.
Which is funny because I had the second worst rental car I'd ever had in my life 2 weeks before.
Ah, payback.
And I rented a compact car, and what I got was something that was about like a Mr. Magoo mobile. So
yeah, like the
awful.
car that you rented at your wedding for the getaway car, the little purple compact.
That was a much better vehicle, and it was $16 a day. Thank you, unlimited mileage.
Your mother-in-law is still
mad at me about
you.
that. Oh well, but I only talked about the car and the fact that you reshop that, and you're not always going to save money, but about 90% of the time. But I got something for you about Europe that's important to know about hotels. So you know how I like to book hotels using discount sites like Priceline and Booking and various sources to find deals on hotels. But in Europe, where a lot of the hotels are small, family-owned, you're paying a markup when you book on third-party sites instead of getting a lower price. And you'll see this not in a big urban center hotel or a chain hotel. You're still going to save money using third-party hotel sites. Make sure it's one that's well-known and not some UFO hotel site. But when you're staying at a small place, if you can book direct with them, almost always the rate will be about 20-25% lower direct with the family-owned little place than it will be booking through any of the hotel sites or hotel apps. Just something important for you to know. And when we go on a trip like that, we plan nothing. We landed in Milan, had our rental car, and then just went wherever. And the randomness of that means you're having a great time somewhere, you stay longer. You're having just a blah time somewhere, you move on. And my brother-in-law was really pushing us to go to Padua. I don't think that's the right way to pronounce it in Italian. But he loved it. We didn't like it at all. So we got in the car and we went somewhere else. We went to Treviso, which we loved. And so that's the randomness if you don't overplan a trip, that you just let the Spirit move you wherever you go. The funniest thing we did, though, after we left Treviso, it was close to dinner time, and we were 20 minutes from Venice. So we were like, we haven't been to Venice in a good while. We drove over, parked the car, took the train from Mestre into Venice, which was €3 round trip, and wandered around and ate dinner and came back and left.
That's
How
awesome.
random is that?
Love it.
We decided to go to Venice for dinner. But now, the tourist tax is back in effect because it went into effect a couple days ago for the season. And if you're not familiar with it, Venice is being so over-touristed that to try to get people not to go there, they charge this tax. It's pretty pricey on the weekend per person. And if you don't buy it, you try to slip through without buying it, I think it's a €300 fine a person when you can't present that you paid the tourist tax. But for my money, Treviso, which is right nearby, obviously, no Americans ever go there, is a much more exciting experience than going to Venice. Just my opinion.
All right, quick question. I know this is going long, but what's the best meal you had when you were there?
Oh, there are no bad meals
Right.
in Italia.
Was there anything exceptional?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I had the best pasta of my entire life. And you know I'm a pastaholic.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best I've ever had. And it was not expensive.
Was it just noodles or was it
It was
ravioli?
noodles with a sauce made from 3 different tomatoes, actually made from the tomatoes. Like, it's not going to be out of a can. in Italy.
Yeah.
And it was unreal. And then again and again and again, we'd have pizza and be like, wow, this is the best pizza of the trip. Then you'd have the next one. You say, no, this is the best pizza of the trip. And it was so crazy cheap eating there. And you'd go to a restaurant and a margarita pizza that the two of us could share would be €7, €8. I think the most we paid was €8.50. And that, you just figure now, because of the tariffs, the value of the euro has gone up a lot versus the dollar. So it'd be like, $8.50 to $10 or so and change.
Oh, you're making me dream of traveling. All right, here's some questions
Don't
for you.
dream about travel.
Yes.
If you can afford it,
If you can
do
afford
it.
Yes.